All right, welcome back to KachiTV. I've missed a few weeks, I guess. Life is just life and trying to catch up with life. So there's a secondary thing I do on the weekends. I know I've said this a million times, but I just have to keep saying it, right? Well, it's the secondary thing I do on the weekends, especially on Sundays when I'm not working. I just have time to relax and record. Otherwise, if I didn't have the time or if I don't have the time, I wouldn't be able to do it. So last week was one of those days where I was just caught up with work, I guess, and maybe just relaxing, and I couldn't get in my studio and record. But regardless, I'm right here today, and hopefully, I'm gonna have a good show, record, and later on break the stories down and share them with you guys. So but I appreciate all the love so far. I think right now at my at this channel, the KachiTV channel, I'm currently at 87 subscribers. It's not 1,000. It's not 10,000. It's not 100,000. But it's a milestone for me still, regardless, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to keep doing it if the numbers are not going as fast as they wanted to. But for me, it's just a secondary thing. So I would care less if anybody even watches, right? I'm just doing it because I have the free time and I'm here today. But anyway, hey, thanks to everyone who's tuned in last week because I kept dropping the old videos from the ones that I recorded. So thanks to everyone who's tuned in last week and those 3 subscribers. Appreciate you guys and all the likes, the comments, and everything. I appreciate all of that. But without much ado, without further ado, that's how I said, right? Without further ado, let's get into it for today. There's been a lot of stories, and I was busy again, so I couldn't catch up with all the stories. But I still have some interesting ones I have today to share anyway. So I'm gonna start with the first one on my list here, which is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Great fight, I'm gonna say that for sure. And a lot of interesting comments on the internet about the fight. I watched it. I thought it was interesting, to say the least, right? First off, obviously, we know it's not the Mike Tyson of 20 years ago or 30 years ago. It's an older Mike Tyson. It's a Mike Tyson of 58 years old. He's 58 years old. He's old. He's not a young guy, right? And Jake Paul is 27. That's pretty much almost twice his age. And interesting fight. Mike Tyson stood his ground, fought the 8 rounds, 2 minutes each round. It was for someone like me who wasn't old enough to watch Mike Tyson's fights, when he was younger and very much active, right? It was very good to see him, perform live, even though he wasn't able to perform at his best because, he's been through a lot of diversity. And just a few months ago, actually, he in June or July or so, the fight was supposed to happen in August, I guess. And then in June or July, he was admitted to the hospital because he fell sick. Natural. It's human to fall sick, right? And that fight was postponed. And he went through that illness, whatever it was, and he came back, trained, and came to fight Jake Paul still. Win or lose for Mike Tyson, it was a win for him because at his age, competing at that level, even though Jake Paul to a lot of people is just a YouTuber, but he's still young and he's been training still regardless. He's been knocking other people out, right? So even though you might call him a subpar fighter, which I think he is anyway, he's not a superior fighter by any stretch of the imagination. He's fought ex MMA people, he's fought basketballers, he's fought different YouTube people as well, but he's never faced a competition that's close to his level. Actually, he has actually, which was Tommy Fury. I think that was last year, and he lost. When he faced the competition that was close to what he brought to the table, he lost. A younger guy, who's also not a very superior fighter, he lost to that guy, right? Which was very interesting. And he keeps talking a lot of shit, and I guess that's why a lot of people keep tuning in. It was 60 million people, according to Netflix. They broke the Netflix server. The server kept buffering and buffering and buffering. A lot of people couldn't even tune in to watch the fight because it was just overloaded, right? But hey, shout out to Mike Tyson, man. He did his thing at 58 years old. He stood his ground, took some punches to the head, stood his ground, fought to the end of the fight, didn't give up. That's what fighters do. That's what tough people do. There were a lot of interviews. There was this interesting interview actually he did with this kid. I can't remember her name right now. There's this young girl who interviews famous people. He scared the shit out of that girl, right? When she asked him about him being a legend, he's like, who gives a fuck about being a legend? When you're dead, you're dead. Who cares? Who cares about being a legend? All that stuff is just about ego. It's just another word for ego. That's pretty much what he told the girl. And she got shocked, the way she was looking at him, in that moment. She's like, whoa, very interesting response. I've never heard anybody give this type of response. Mike Tyson is one very interesting guy, right? And there was also a clip of him playing with Hasbullah. Hasbullah, the little guy who's, he's an older guy, but he's little. He's like in his late 20s right now, but he's a smaller guy, right? And Mike Tyson was fondling this guy like he was a baby, right? And a lot of people were like, Mike Tyson couldn't recognize this guy was a child or was an adult, right? And he also couldn't recognize that this little girl was a child. Like, what's going on, man? Take it easy on people, Mike, But hey, he's a very interesting character, and that's what makes him unique. And I have to give it up to him for sure. I mean, not a lot of 58-year-olds would have the balls to come out and do what he did on Friday night, in Texas, right? Even though it wouldn't be the best thing to do, considering you could have some brain damage, you're more susceptible to stuff like that at that age, a younger guy punching you in the head, it's just not the best look, just not the best thing for a 58-year-old to do. But he did his thing, and that's for sure. A lot of people had things to say about him, which I agree too. If Mike Tyson was my dad, I guess I'll tell him not to do that. I'll discourage him from from doing that, right? But I have no doubt that his kids did the same. But ultimately, the choice or the decision is up to him to make, right? He's a grown-ass man, and he can make those decisions for himself. And I guess he did what he had to do, and he got paid. Apparently, we are hearing $20 million. If that's the number he made, man, shout out to him, man. Anybody would get in a ring with anybody to go fight for $20 million. I mean, I can't be mad at that, right? I can't. Listen, $20 million is not $20,000. It's not $20. It's not $2 million by any stretch of the imagination. It's a lot of money for anybody to turn down, But hey, regardless, Mike Tyson is the man, man. I can't even hate, right? I can't even hate. And deep down in me, for some reason, I was hoping he could touch Jake Paul and drop him for once. Let people just have that fulfillment of, hey, this kid, fighting his grandpa, fighting people who are not really experienced and knocking them out. He got touched by this grandpa and he got knocked down, right? Deep down in me, I wanted to see that for sure. I'm not even gonna lie, but it didn't happen, right? And I guess a lot of people wanted it to happen too. There was a bet. Drake made a bet actually of $350,000, I think, that Mike Tyson was gonna win. But he lost the bet, and I guess a lot of people made that bet too. But hey, man, it's really sad, man. Gervonta Davis had some words to say to Jake Paul, Bud Crawford, the boxer. He also had some words to say about Mike Tyson, that he didn't look good. You can't train all that long and still come out there and throw just 19 punches. But people forget the background story, which we didn't even know prior to the fight, right? These things just came up. I'm gonna share this real quick, actually, where a tweet where he shared his health concerns, getting into the fight, right? He said he almost died, sometime in June, but came back, trained, and was able to still fight. That's something to give credit for. I'm not even gonna lie, honestly. I can't even be mad at that, honestly. Like, someone facing all that adversity and coming back, and man, hey, listen, man, it's tough, and he did what he had to do for sure. I'm gonna share this right here, and not that one. Sharing the wrong screen. Let's share the right one instead. Yeah, it's this one. All right, let's share this one. All right, here it says, and this is from Mike Tyson. He said, this is one of those situations when you lost but still won. Hey, man, I can't even be mad at this, man. He lost the fight for sure by the judges, by the scorecard, but he still won ultimately. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight to get healthy to fight, so I won. I won. So to have my children see me stand toe to toe and finish 8 rounds with a talented fighter half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboy stadium is an experience that no one has a right to ask for. Thank you. Can't be mad at that, right? Can't be mad at that, that's for sure, But hey, man, shout out to Mike Tyson and to Jake Paul, man. I think a lot of people would want to see you fight more challenging opponents, but hey, I doubt that's gonna happen. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one because hey, it's all for the show. Jake Paul is in this not to gain any fucking belts or accolades. He's in it for the money, for the show, the entertainment. In my opinion, I think that's what he got into boxing for, not to become a real boxer. And he would never be known as a real boxer. If he continues doing this. And I don't know. I think I can bet a lot of money on this that he's gonna continue doing this. He's never gonna get in the ring with a real boxer. And the closest thing he fought was a real boxer was Tommy Fury, and he lost. So I think he's never gonna do that again. But anyway, shout out to Uncle Mike, man. You did your thing. You won, like you said, and I think your kids would be proud of you, and a lot of people also, including myself, are very proud of you for sure. Keep doing you. Let's get into the next story here. All right, we have this story of the Raiders owner, Mark Davis. He says his 26-year-old girlfriend likes his smile, and that's the only reason why she's with him. Without saying anything, I'm just gonna share a picture of this man and the smile, so we kind of understand what we're working with here, right? Let's kind of understand what we're working with, right? Hey, there's nothing wrong with your smile. I'm gonna zoom in so we see his smile first, right? And then we can see his 26-year-old girlfriend. Okay, this is Mark Davis, right? A billionaire, right? He owns the Raiders team, right? A billionaire, right? 69 years old, right? That's the smile. That's the beautiful smile that he says his 26-year-old girlfriend can't get enough of. This smile. How about the haircut, right? While we're talking about the smile, how about we talk about the haircut, right? Didn't she tell you about the haircut, that she loves the haircut too, huh? She didn't tell you about the haircut, huh? I think she loves the haircut too. How about that? It's not just the smile, man. I think the haircut has something to do with that. And let's look at the girlfriend. This is the 26-year-old girlfriend, right? That's the chosen one right there. That only loves his smile. You play too much, man. Talking about how she 9-year-old Raiders owner Mark Davis says his 26-year-old girlfriend didn't know he was a billionaire. Okay, keep playing with yourself, okay? Keep playing with yourself, and she just attracted to his smile. What's so attractive about your smile? Huh? What's so attractive about your smile? I'd love to know, right? What's so attractive about this smile? You don't even show any teeth. You just, hey, man. How about the haircut? How about we talk about the haircut? Didn't she tell you about the haircut? She didn't make mention of the haircut, no? You play too much, Mark Davis, man. Stop playing, man. She knows what it is. She's securing her future. She's securing her family's future. She's securing everything, man. Talking about just make sure you do. I don't know. I'm not gonna give marital advice here, man. It's all you, man. Do your thing. It's your money. It's your haircut. It's your smile. It's your Raiders team. All that good stuff. Shout out to you. You're the man who won with a smile. Good for you. But hey, man, I'm not gonna waste too much time on this one because honestly, I don't even know what to say. Before I leave, anyway, I'm gonna find this story and try to see what the comment section has to say because there's always interesting things to say, right? And there's always interesting things from the comment sections, right? So let's see what they're saying here, right? That's if I can get to the comment section here. Now I can't find the comment section. Okay, there we go. I'm sure. Okay, that was the first thing. I'm sure she loves his haircut too, right? Right? How about the haircut? Someone says, I'm sure she loved his haircut too, right? She definitely knew Button. Bro looks like an old moldy potato with hair. Come on now, that's not nice. Come on now. Someone said, such a beautiful love story. Totally agree. Does he cut his own hair and with a knife and fork? It was the haircut for me, right? I think it's the haircut. I think, hey, fuck the smile, right? It's the haircut. I think it's the haircut. It's not the smile. A billionaire with a $2 haircut. It's ridiculous, man. He's so handsome. I believe him. She thought he was just a millionaire. Yeah. Someone said, yeah, and I didn't know I was black. Okay. And someone says, how sweet to see a genuine love story. Honestly, ridiculous. I'm sure it was the hair too. I think the hair had something to do with definitely the hair had something to do with the love story here. How about that, right? How about that, Mark Davis? You play too damn much, man. Stop playing. But hey, man, anyway, with that, I'm gonna move to the next story here. The next story we have here is going back to Nigeria because I'm Nigeria and I have a lot of things to say about Nigeria, right? But hey, man, this one I know I saw this somewhere on the internet, on some bloggers posts, but right now I couldn't find it, so I'm just gonna talk about it because I can relate. And this is, just Nigerian families separated due to traveling abroad, right? This is real. It's I don't think it's limited to Nigerians, but I think it's also, it spreads, across the continent of Africa and the world in general, because a lot of people would leave their home country and move to a different country to go get a better life for themselves. And this didn't just start today. I mean, it's been humanity ever since human existed. Like they even said, the scientists said, life started in Africa, and I guess people left Africa and went to other places for so many reasons, maybe to go get a better life, maybe due to different circumstances, maybe they were alienated from their own land, maybe due to hardship, maybe due to disasters, natural disasters, for whatever reasons, since the existence of humankind, this has happened. But we're seeing this a lot now. And just talking about the Nigerian perspective, where a lot of people would leave, a lot of people want to leave the country, go to Europe by any means possible. There's people who leave Nigeria through the Sahara Desert and in the bid of trying to get into Europe, via the Mediterranean Sea and all that good stuff. And a lot of people lose their lives, in the process of doing that, right? Which is sad, right? But ultimately, they're just trying to go better the living conditions of themselves and their families back home. And I guess they've thought about it. I'm like, it's rather I go take this chance than stay where I am and nothing happens, nothing changes as far as my economic situation. I'd rather just take this chance. Whatever happens, happens. If I drown in the sea, that's what it is. But I'd rather do that than remain in this situation that I'm in, right? Francis Ngannou, man, shout out to that dude, tough dude. He's shared his story a lot of times, how he went through the same route, and he's from Cameroon in this instance, right? He went through the same route, traveled through different countries, even traveled through Nigeria, up through the northern African countries, through the Sahara, and went to, I think it was Algeria, where he camped for a little while, or Morocco. It was either Algeria or Morocco, where he camped for a little while, tried to escape through the border of the country via the Mediterranean Sea, and he was caught, I think he said 7 times, and eventually he made it through, went to the passed through the Mediterranean Sea, and eventually went to France or whatever, and the rest is history, right? That's what most people do. That's what most people think of, and like, it's better for me to just take this chance and do what I have to do. If I survive, so be it. If not, it's what it is as well. But hey, there are a lot of backfalls, I guess, to this as well, because in the eventuality of you succeeding by any means, say maybe you travel to the USA, Europe, the UK, whatever country, whatever continent, even Asia, your family is now left back behind. And the story, or the stories that made me want to talk about this actually, was people talking about how the parents of these people who migrate to other countries, the parents are back home lonely by themselves, and sometimes even die, and no one is even there to bury them and stuff like that. None of their kids are home, just the loneliness and stuff like that. It's definitely understandable, and I can see it from that angle. Myself, I'm in the USA too, and my parents are back home in Nigeria. But good thing I'm not the only kid, right? I'm the last child, if anything. If anything, I'm the last child, right? So I have my other siblings in Nigeria, who are with my who spend time with my parents. So I know for sure that they're not lonely. And I also make calls also every weekend or every time when I have the opportunity on FaceTime, talk to my parents. I know that's not enough, but it's something. It's still better than nothing, right? Back in the day when people didn't have the opportunities of even having a phone call, not talk of video phone call, right? At least right now, technology allows people to connect with their loved ones, even for free, right? Like an app like WhatsApp, right? An app like WhatsApp allows you to connect with your parents, for free, just via the internet connection. You can speak to your mom, your dad, you can see them live and all that good stuff. It's still better than nothing, man. I know the physical touch and all that good stuff is different, but it's still better than nothing. And I can see it from that aspect. But regardless, I think your parents are still gonna be proud of you, right? I think your parents are still going to be proud of you, making that step or taking that step, and going out there to go make a better life for yourself. Because if you were in the country, it wouldn't make them happy. I believe the goal of most parents, or the dream of most parents, would be to see their kids successful, right? And if you stayed back home in your homeland, I don't know, man. If your parents would have loved that for you, it would be frustrating for everybody, right? But you leaving, at least being able to sustain them, take care of them, support them, I think they too would be proud of that. I think that's something also to be proud of. Hey, I'm also in the situation, so I don't even know which way to go, right? I honestly don't even know where to be, because honestly, I think everybody's gonna do what's best for them at the end of the day, ultimately. But hey, man, shout out to everybody who's out there struggling, trying to make things work out for them, for themselves and their families back home. Definitely not easy. People go different routes. People would go through the land borders, to the sea borders, which is very tough. And most times people lose their lives trying to do this stuff, but people would do what they want to do ultimately. So shout out to everyone who's out there trying to hustle, trying to support their family and bring bread back home for their family, man. It's what it is. And with that, I'm going to move to the next story here. But before that, I'm going to take some water because I'm getting really thirsty, right? All right, there's another story which has been making the rounds on the internet. There's been an Equatorial Guinea government official who's been making the rounds on the internet. I hope I can even say his name. All right, the vice. Okay, this is one of the Equatorial Guinea public officer exposed in leaked sex tape scandal. I think this was on the Shade Room. I found this one. Equatorial Guinea public officer allegedly exposing 400 leaked tapes featuring wives of family members, family members by an elected official. This guy is mean, man. What do you mean? Family members. It's ridiculous. I thought I was sharing the screen, but I'm going to share the screen right now. Hey, man, this man has been going around with his family members' wives. Like, what? What? I'm going to try to find the actual story here so I can click on the link and actually read the story. This guy is one freaking legend, man. What do you mean family members? Are you being serious right now? All right, I'm going to find the news here. Equatorial Guinea. He's been a celebrity for the past, I don't know, for the past week. And I wouldn't go ahead and watch a sex tape by I don't know how old this man is by this man, man. But a lot of people have talked about the sex tapes on their channels, and for some reason everybody who watches it, makes this gesture. I don't know what it is about this gesture they make, right? But hey, for this man going around having sex with his family members' wives, and even his colleagues' wives, I don't know, man. I think that's crazy. That's some really crazy stuff. For some reason, now I can't find the story, even though it was all over the news the other day. For some reason now I can't find it. All right, now I found this one. Let's see what's up with this one. All right, this one says authorities in Equatorial Guinea on Tuesday announced plans to install surveillance cameras in government offices, the latest in a string of actions taken in response to a scandal involving a government official who allegedly recorded hundreds of sex videos. Like, why was he even making recordings of these videos? Like, was he trying to get himself exposed, or what was the point of it? Or was he trying to blackmail them or whatever, right? Baltasar Ebang Ngonga, director of the country's National Financial Investigation Agency. He is the director of the country's National Financial Investigation. Okay. Has been suspended and being investigated. Public investigators are searching. I'm going to take that out. Public investigators were searching Ngonga's computer in the course of a probe into alleged corruption. Oh, I see. That makes sense now. They were searching his computer in the course of a probe into alleged corruption and embezzlement of public funds when they found up to 400 sex videos of him and multiple women. Some of them wives and relatives of senior government officials. You can't make this up, man. Some of the videos were reported to have leaked and gone viral on social media, prompting shock and outrage from officials. It was not clear if the sexual activities with the women were consensual or if any of the women had lodged formal complaints against him. The authorities want to establish whether the man deliberately used these relationships to spread a possible disease among the population. What What disease are we talking about now, man? In the wake of the scandal, Mangue said the government offices will soon have surveillance cameras to eradicate improper and illicit behavior. Anyone caught having any form of sexual activity in an office will be sacked. Right? I know, right? Man, like, why was he saving these videos in the first place? You can't make this up. Like, it's just ridiculous. Why were you saving the videos? You know, I think I don't know. I don't know how. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but if you're looking for something, I think he might have a case against the government here, depending on how the law goes in their country, right? But hey, I don't know what the law is in the country because different countries, different laws, right? But if you're looking for financial embezzlements and you go in there and go start looking at other things, man, I think you're in breach of my privacy now, So I think he might have a case depending on what the country law says about privacy and all that good stuff. But hey, we know what it is. It's Africa, this is just gonna be mockery, and it's just gonna be mockery of him. And at the end of the day, probably he's gonna face jail time if he's found guilty of the embezzlement, the original embezzlement charges, because that's what he was charged for. He wasn't charged for being I don't know, having sex with 400 women, right? That's not the case here. The case here is a financial embezzlement, and hey, we'll see what happens, right? But hey, it was a very interesting story that trended for the most of last week and this past week as well. But I thought I should say that I should jump on that one as well, right? Just like everybody did. But hey, regardless, with that, I'm gonna move to the next story here, which is gonna be my last, by the way. The next one I have here is the Grammy for the Best African Music Performance. And for this one, I have a list here. There's Ashake, there's Davido, there's Chris Brown, there's Bonner, there's Wizkid, there's Lojay, there's Yemi Alade, and there's Thames. So for the Davido Sensational, I don't know who owns that song per se, but it's either Davido or Chris Brown that owns the music, and there was a feature on that one. And Lojay also was on that music. Maybe he produced the music, but he's also a nominee here based on that sensational music. Hey, shout out to Afrobeats, man, because last year for the same category, we had Tyler, we had Ashake, we had Davido, we had Burna Boy, we had Olamide, we had Ira Star, and we had Musa Keys. And Tyler ultimately won that one for her song Water. And this year there's just straight up Nigerian artists. I think every other African musician is going to be pissed right now by this one, right? But hey, you have to give it to Afrobeats though. We make good music, right? There's good sounds that come out, like great sounds that come out of Afrobeats. It's just, for me, I personally have my own reservations when it comes to Afrobeats, right? But apart from my reservations, the sounds that come out of Afrobeats, the culture, they're just great sounds. You can't beat that. That's for sure. And they're doing their thing and definitely being recognized. And obviously, this is it's a new category. I think the category started last year for Best African Music Performance. And I don't know what that, let's see what that actually means. So according to Wikipedia, I think this is Wikipedia. According to Wikipedia, it says the Academy announced a new category. Yeah, it came out last year. The Academy announced a new category in June of 2023, stating that the award recognizes recordings that utilize unique local expressions from across the African continent. Excuse me. Highlighting regional melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic musical traditions. The award honors, but is not limited to, African popular music, Afropop. Hey man, it's Afrobeats, don't play. If Afrobeats are always nominated, right? if Afrobeats are always nominated, Afrobeats musicians are always nominated, how about we call it Afrobeats, right? How about that? How about that? Well, hey, shout out to these guys, man. They're doing the thing for sure. It's again Ashake for MMS. He featured Wizkid on that one. So obviously Wizkid is also a nominee. You know, it's Davido on the sensational music. It's Chris Brown on the sensational music as well. And then Burna Boy for the higher music, and Wizkid for the MMS music, which is a feature on the Asake music, on the Asake MMS music, and Loje for the same sensational, right? And then we have Yemi Alade. I don't think I've listened to this Yemi Alade's Tomorrow. That's one that I haven't listened. And another one I haven't listened to is Love Me Jeje by Thames. But I think they're all gonna be great sounds for sure. And we're gonna see what the Grammys, or we're gonna see who the Grammys think would take this one home this year. I know Burna Boy has won a Grammy in the past, and but it wasn't for this category. It was for a different category at the time. Maybe for 2022 it was a different category at the time. Wizkid also won in the past, maybe the same year. Burna Boy won one, you know, for his music with Beyonce, the feature with Beyonce. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one for sure. The best man, I guess, the best man or the best woman is gonna win on this one. And with that, hey man, I'm gonna call it a day on this one with this story, and I'll see you guys back next week. Get new stories, great stories, like I always do every week, and we'll see how it goes from there. Hey man, if you liked what I've said so far, or if you disagree as well, please let me know what your disagreement is, and let's make those changes. And if you like the videos, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well, because all that stuff, you know, encourages me to come back here and do more every other Saturday or every other Sunday. But with that, it's gonna be peace, like I always do. Peace.